This week we are doing Subway's Sub on a Spud. I think I've done very similar in the past, and they have been doing jacket potatoes for a while, but now they're actually doing a proper sub filling on a spud. So if you stick around, you'll see exactly how I rated it, what it cost me, and what's the point, was the reality anywhere near the advertised? So as we do every week, what's in the bag? And this week it is your sub on a spud, which I think is just more of a marketing campaign with Subway. They started it off quite a while ago when I did a review on the subs, on a spud, but I don't think they marketed it as such. So you could have a jacket potato, which is what they started off doing, but not have any sub on a spud. So if you go on their website, I saw that link there. It's a bit of a marketing campaign, I think, but it kind of looks pretty good. So I chose Meatball Marinara and the Big Breakwich, which I don't know whether many people have actually had the Big Breakwich. Breakwich is actually how it's said and how it's written. So I just thought let's try it. They don't look particularly brilliant. Oh, sorry, there was the link with the newsroom on Subway's website, so you can just have a flick through that. And again, it's like I say, it's just more of a marketing campaign, I think, to take on, I guess, Spudman and everybody else, which seems to be going from strength to strength with new vans and everything else. However, as you can see there, not in the slightest bit cheap. £8 odd for a jacket potato. I'm sure I've said this before. Go to a show of some description or concert, whatever. If they've got, vans outside, food vans, they're going to be expensive. They're going to be upwards of £6, £7, £8. But this is just the high street. So you can see there, I've obviously had cookies as well with it, just for a dessert. But the two subs, not particularly brilliant, I'll say subs, the two spuds, not particularly big, not particularly brilliant. But the jacket potato themselves wasn't actually bad. It wasn't crispy. Obviously, it's, kind of the heat and moisture gets to it. So the skin was soft, but it was, at some point, I'm assuming crispy because it's got that kind of, kind of crackled finish on the jacket potato skin. So all in all, and the potato was cooked perfectly as well. All in all, I'd say the jacket potato as a jacket potato was pretty good. Soft jacket potato, not overcooked, not undercooked, thank God, and plenty of butter. So, and also just if you get a second and you do like the content, feel free to subscribe. Massively helps the channel. And if you can, add a like to it, and by all means comment below what you thought. So Meatball Marinara, don't need to go over that. Everybody's had a Meatball Marinara. On a spud, I think it actually adds a little bit. And also, if anybody's wondering, I just added tomato for the salad. I should have just left it off. It's a jacket potato. It needs salad rather, if I can speak, on a jacket potato. Again, none of these videos are scripted, just in case anybody thinks I'm reading from a script. It's all literally on the fly. So there are going to be the odd mistake, but I think that adds to it, if nothing else. And yes, people can slate me now for waffling. Why is he waffling so much? Why does he go on? Anyway, the jacket potato, I think, was brilliant in terms of having whatever you want. Go into Subway, look at the board, and you can have anything you want on a sub. I think they do try and stick to, if you have a Meatball Marinara, you can't kind of deviate from that. However, on to the next one, which is the Big Breakwich, which I don't know whether many people even know about, but it basically comes with butter, double portion of cheese, Lincolnshire sausage, sort of patty, poached egg, hash brown, streaky bacon, and a bit of ketchup. I think the actual Breakwich itself, compared to like a breakfast cob, is actually pretty good. The sausage patty, not quite as nice as or flavourful as McDonald's, let's say, but the little hash brown's brilliant. The streaky bacon, a lot of fat to it, but apparently that's good for Wagyu, so maybe that's good for streaky bacon. Obviously it's not, but as a potato, and have your breakfast on a potato, it probably is a bit overkill. The hash brown, obviously with the potato, not really needed. But as a kind of concept, or whatever word you want to use, it's something different. And I think to have that, albeit if they were straight out of the Subway as opposed to delivery, they would have been bang on. Really hot and everything, obviously in terms of jacket potato. Not quite the Spudman type jacket potato sellers where they've been wrapped in foil all day and they are kind of crispy and just a really good jacket potato full of moisture and etc. Not to go on. They would be better. So all of these guys that have got the Spud vans are doing this sort of thing, albeit not to this extent, but maybe that's the other angle. So in terms of flavours, everything was as it would be as a sub. So I'm not going to knock any flavours, not going to knock any subs, because I like most subs that Subway offer. So the streaky bacon, again, they could have probably replaced that with proper bacon, being the jacket potato. But they are literally just doing it like for like. Whatever the spud was is then on top of your jacket potato. Whether it will catch on, whether it will be a hit or a miss, I'm not so sure. I think it's good as a concept, but it might die off. I don't know. However, the cookies from Subway are absolutely brilliant, as probably everybody knows. Plenty of moisture to them, not crunchy, not sort of dry, unless you probably get them towards the end of the day and they've been out. Although most of them are wrapped in plastic, which I don't know whether they are their own and these are in-house, the ones in plastic, I'm not 100% sure. But the cookies are brilliant, you can't really knock them. A little bit, maybe too much chocolate, and that sounds like a mad thing to say, but yeah. And the prices, again, back to the prices, they're not, anything above £7 for a jacket potato, albeit with the toppings, I still think is a fair amount of money. So I'm not going to rate them through the roof, but I think, just over average, 7, 6.5, and a cookie's 8.5. By all means, try them. As I say, you can have any spud on your sub. I appreciate everybody's watching. And if you haven't and you feel like it, check out these other reviews.